Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. We are back to the usual format. Man, I was discombobulated trying to do lives with my phone. You'd think I'd know how to do that when I used to do lives with my phone all the time. But you know what they say? You get out of practice in doing something, and voila, you have an issue. So, back to comfort or not sure. So, did you miss me? I missed you. I am in the middle of a very exciting moment where we are planning for a big adventure 2021, and we're putting all the things in place, we're getting all the pieces together to make it happen. And I am learning so much, and I promise you that I am keeping a video journal. Most of it actually is recorded in, what is this view called? The vertical view. It's in the vertical view. So my apologies up front. Well, no, not really. I just grabbed the phone and just started talking. So there you have it. And I made these like 2 minute, a little bit over 2 minutes each, little segments. And as I learn something and pass it along, it will be, and I promise it will be laid out and distributed through the channels in the future. But there you have it. So today I wanted to talk about 20 feet or 40 feet. And I know you are wondering, what am I talking about? When you are putting together your belongings and you are getting them in a situation where they can be transported from one place to another, if you are doing a transportation that is involving large bodies of water like oceans, then a container is a great way, and actually probably the least expensive way, believe it or not, to transport your belongings. Talk to anybody who is in the military and has had to move their households across the world, across the country, et cetera, et cetera. They will tell you containers are the way to go. So, okay, so that is number one. You figured it out. Okay, so you need a container to move your stuff. Fine. What size container? Because the containers come in the two flavors I mentioned, 20 feet and 40 feet. So then you have to figure out, well, which one do I need? Because they are, one is twice the size of the other. And of course, there's a cost factor, and you want to make sure that you have adequate space for all of the things that you need. So things like, you have to consider, are you going to be moving a vehicle? How are you going to transport that vehicle to the next place? Are you going to put it in a container? Which you could do. You could put your vehicle in a container, but it all depends. Now, if you have a lot of stuff, then chances are the container is not going to be able to contain your vehicle as well. So something to think about. So, this is really cool because I had no clue about any of this stuff. And I also had no clue about all the things that you needed to do in order to pack things, right? Because the last time we moved, we literally moved down the street. We moved not a block away, but a mile away from the other place. And so, this is all brand new. So, of course, I went and I looked it up. My husband is very good at metrics, and he basically figured out how many small boxes, medium-sized boxes, and large boxes would actually fit in a container. He did this configuration and figured it out for a 40-foot container. But if you have a smaller dwelling and you don't have as much stuff, a 20-foot container would work really well. Now, the capacity of a 20-foot container, my understanding, is about the contents of a 3-bedroom house. So that equates to, let me see how many cubic feet. It says that you have 20-foot container. You have, it doesn't say exactly how many cubic feet you have, but you can potentially fit 100 washing machines, 400 flat screen televisions, 200 full-size mattresses, 50 to 60 fridges, 48,000 bananas, and 10 standard pallets. So that makes sense to you? Fantastic. That's perfect. So that is the deal. So when you're looking at whether or not you need a container and which size you need, the first thing is obviously going to be how much stuff do you have, right? Because that's going to make a difference. Because now, if your stuff is being moved by water or over water, yeah, by ship. If your stuff's being moved by ship, then that's less expensive than if it's being moved by what they call air freight, more expensive, as you can well imagine. And then it goes by volume and not weight. So it goes by volume when you're moving by water, and it goes by weight if you're moving by air for obvious reasons, right? Because fuel costs, etc., fuel accountability obviously plays a role. And then, like I said, depending on whether you're doing air or ship. Okay, so these are the two things. So you decide, okay, is my stuff going to go by air? Is my stuff going to go by sea? And if they are, then you got to figure out volume versus weight. So now, like I said, you can choose the 20 foot if you have a 3-bedroom house and it can fit all the things I mentioned. If you have a larger dwelling and more stuff, then the 40 foot's for you, right? The 40 foot technically contains 67 cubic something. I can't, forget it. Never mind. You can literally fit a lot more stuff in a 40 foot. So essentially twice the amount of items I just mentioned. So, that's the first decision, which way it's going to go, air or land. And then, of course, it's going to be, how much. Oh, here it is. So it's 305 square feet of floor space in the container. And then, the door of the container is like 7 feet tall, and almost 8 feet tall. And then it's almost 8 feet wide. So it's pretty wide. So you can fit a lot of stuff in there. So yeah. So then the next thing is obviously packing. So I'm not going to get into that, but I just wanted to kind of give you a sense of how can you decide whether you need a 20 foot or a 40 foot. And that's all I have for you today. Hey, you know what? The other day when I was researching this, I did have, if you ever decide you're going to be making a big move and you want to figure this all out, I do have a spreadsheet with, all the calculations, and you can plug in the different size boxes, et cetera, et cetera. And the spreadsheet does something magical because my husband's pretty magical in what he does with that stuff. And so if you want that, I'm happy to share it. Otherwise, I will probably come back on here and talk a little bit more about Big Adventure 2021 and all the things that I'm learning right before, of course, we release all of the video blog items. So thank you for your attention, and I hope that you have an amazing evening. This is Dr. G, and I hope that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness. Happy travels.